Optimization and maximization. What the hell does that mean? It means how do we grow your business 130% or more this year, even if you're a mature company, and that sounds impossible and you've never grown more than 5 or 10%. How do we really do that without spending any money? Who's up for this idea? Say aye. Or if you spend any money, you'll only do a nominal amount of money and you'll get it back immediately because you're only gonna put the money out where you know for certain the return is there. No real risk. See, this is all what I call asymmetrical risk reward. The greatest investors in the world take the least amount of risk with the most amount of upside. Average investors think they have to take huge risks to get huge returns, and today you're gonna see that's not true. So tell me, what would you have to believe to work that many years in a world where almost all of us are socialized for immediate rewards? No rewards, not only no rewards, people angry, people pissed, people died. What would you have to believe to keep going? What would you have to believe to go on this journey? The first thing you'd have to believe is the treasure is actually out there. If you don't believe the treasure is in your business, you're never gonna find it. And when I say believe, what is a belief? A feeling of absolute what?
Certainty.
If you don't have absolute certainty the treasure is out there, you're never even gonna begin this journey. Does that make sense? And you're sure it's never gonna find it. But in order to keep going, you need to believe more than just it's out there. What else would you have to believe? Search your own heart, soul, mind. What would you have to believe to go decade after decade? No matter how much pain you're given to keep going, you'd have to believe it's out there, but you'd also have to believe I will find it with the same certainty that it's out there. You'd have to have absolute certainty you can find it. Now, how do you get absolute certainty when you're gonna find it when you have no map and no guarantee? That is what makes someone a great leader. A leader is someone who brings certainty to a world of uncertainty. And how do they do it? What's the difference between fear and faith? And you'll have your answer. What's the difference between fear and faith? Well, I'll help you. They're both made up. Fear is made up. You don't know what's gonna happen in the future. And faith, certainty about the future, is made up. They're both imagination. The only difference is fear is imagination undirected, so weeds grow automatically. Faith is you decide to be certain because it serves. Because you believe with that certainty, you will create what it is you have inside of you. That's between a creator and a manager of circumstance. So we got two beliefs now. Does it make sense? You have to believe it absolutely is out there with absolute certainty or you're not gonna go on the journey. But you also gotta believe, I will find it. But there's a third belief. If you don't believe the treasure's out there, you're not gonna do it. If you don't believe you're absolutely gonna find it, you're not gonna do it. But even if you believe it's out there and you're gonna find it, 5, 10 years into it, the only thing gonna keep you going is it's worth it. These three beliefs you must have for your own business, or today and this entire week will be a waste of your time. If you allow yourself to abandon your business because it's not working yet, because you think you've tried everything, you're wrong. But if you will come from this place that the treasure is in this business and I will find it and it will be worth it, then you will find it. So if you have those three beliefs, that's what you gotta have. And I didn't have those in the business before, but I adopted these beliefs in my own business. And once I just decided, there was no proof that the treasure would be there and that I would find it, that one was easier. I have that installed in me anyway. And it'll be worth it by thinking of the impact, not just on me, but on my family and on my employees, on everybody. I exploded the business. And it took probably 3 years after that before I found how to break through. I found lots of little things, nothing gelled just yet, but it's kind of like I always tell most people overestimate what they're gonna do in a year. They set these giant goals for the year, but they underestimate what they can do in a decade, or 2, or 3. And that sounds like a long time, but how many find that as you've gotten older, time goes a lot faster than it used to? Say aye. 10 years from now will surely arrive. The question is, where will you be? Who will you be 10 years from now? Because it's gonna go like that. And perhaps now's the time to make that happen. And what's gonna determine what really happens is the beliefs you adopt. Because the beliefs are gonna determine whether you actually do the I'm sharing it. How many follow here? Say aye. And by the way, I sold half of that company for $200 million about 4 years ago. And I still got another half, and the company keeps growing geometrically. So I'll make $1 billion out of that business alone. And I have 33 other companies. And what do you think that did in my ability to make the other companies more successful? Because once I truly had mastered this business, I didn't run and start another business because this one wasn't giving me enough. I stayed with this little bastard until I figured it out. And then I grew it, and then I leveraged it and managed it as an owner. And now, as a true owner, I could do that with another business. What most of you have done is you got a child, and you go get another child, and all 3 children are suffering. Many of you need to get rid of some of those businesses, find the one you're gonna put your guts into, and have the concentration of your power, or you're never gonna succeed with a split focus. The most important part is the psychology of how you change you, and then how you influence your people to follow through. Because how many have had plans before you were excited about, and when you went to go implement them with your team, nothing happened? Raise your hand, say, ah. So it's not enough to just have these beliefs. You have to have these beliefs, and then you gotta be able to translate that to other people. One way of understanding this, let's go back to that game of golf we talked about yesterday. Here's what you need to understand about this. If you track this on a chart, this is what it looks like after the 6th hole. It looks like nothing has happened because the change is so small. And if we go a little further, 9 holes into it, there's nothing sexy, and this is your business probably after 6, 5, 7, 10 years, for many of you. It may have given you emotional juice, but really, it takes infrastructure, time, it takes expertise, it takes time to build a brand. And people today expect, I want something, I get it now. I go on the web, I get it instantly. I get my music, I get my movies, I get everything else, I get my sex, I slide right, I can have it, ready to go, right? So 13 holes into it, it looks like nothing. But watch from 13th hole to the 18th hole, that's the growth. That's geometric growth. That, my dear friends, is your businesses. And if you stay with it, and if you apply what I'm sharing with you here, now can you do it sooner? Of course you can. But in the very beginning, it doesn't seem very rewarding, and that's why people drop out. So our goal is to make sure we understand how to build those small things that look like they're nothing, so we can hit that curve faster. You must connect with people with their interests. You connect with people by first talking in their interests, not the company's interests, not your interests. So bear in mind, I'm not talking the whole company. And by the way, even if you have a small company, I suggest you start this with one little division, just so it's bite-sized, so you can get your arms around it. So I get this group together, and there's about 25 people in this little department. And it wasn't even the whole department, actually. It was the people that get on the phone and talk to customers and clients and invite them to have a free test experience or free coaching experience. We don't charge for it because our focus is add more what? And then if you add that much value, people will see it and they'll want to participate. So this is the group that gets on the phone, reaches out, and talks to people. And I'm not here for delusion or positive thinking. So here's what I want you to know. If you disagree, we're gonna build this together. But if you disagree or think I'm full of or it's not there, you're welcome to tell me. I'd prefer it being said more nicely, but you can say it any way you want. My feelings are not gonna be hurt. But I'm gonna ask one thing. If you have the ability to tell me anything and I'm gonna respond in a positive way to you, then I also need you and I to do what I do to myself to break up my own limitations, because what you may tell me may be true, that it's impossible, or it may be just your limiting belief or your lack of experience. And so for us to know the difference, quality people have learned to ask themselves certain questions to make better decisions. And about 98% of the time, not every time, I find out that the real limit is not in the world, it's in my head. Mind reading is the key. If you want to be a great influencer, you want to mind read. So what does mind read mean? It's when I'm searching an audience and I'm speaking, I don't do what most people do. 99% of speakers, when I talk to them and I ask them what they're focusing on, when they go out there, they focus on the people clapping, smiling, nodding. I don't. When I'm speaking to the whole group, I'm going directly at them. I look at them, I talk to them, I go after them, I influence them, and once I get them, I have everybody else already. Mind reading is when I see them, I read their minds. It's not hard to figure it out. I go, I know you guys might think the chairman drops by one day out of the year. He's gonna give us this brilliant plan, seagull management. What have I done? I've mind read what some are thinking, and there's this little chuckle and like, and then they go as, wow, he's not unconscious. He knows this sounds crazy. When people get up during the Dickens process, they'll tell me a limiting belief, and very often, since I have short time, I go right at them. I say, why the f are you lying to me, right? And then I break up their negative belief. So I have lots of ways to do it, but most of them are pretty explosive and intense because I'm doing as fast as I can. You get lasting change. First, in order to get someone to make change a must, you gotta find what? You gotta find some leverage. And then what do you gotta do? Once you get what change is a must, you gotta interrupt the pattern. You gotta destroy the old pattern, and then you gotta create and reinforce a new pattern until it becomes a habit.